Actually, I did the other night when I was laying down. Like, I was like, oh my god, I've been in that position for like 6 hours at the table.
Good times. And then I effleurage. Now you can also friction from the top of the neck down too. So there's a little bit of like posterior neck work. I'm not going to use a lot of pressure. I'm still coming from my hip. I'm going to slide down the neck with my thumb. Not a lot of pressure because of how compromised my fingers are in this position. If you wanted to use more pressure, I go back to the knuckles and slide down that way. So some people are crazy and like a ridiculous amount of pressure in their neck, and others are very tender. So you just gotta go with what they like. So effleurage. And now we can also do friction along the rhomboids. So the rhomboids run like this. So there's a couple ways. I've kind of created my own way of doing kind of trigger point work / Swedish together. I like to come in. People usually have a lot of stuff going on in here. I like to kind of pin down here with one thumb, and then I'll take my other thumb and I'll ride along. So I'm like right in the shoulder blade, maybe even kind of underneath it. Oops, sorry. Is that too much?
It felt weird, but I'm good.
So she had kind of just one of those twitch, like those spasm responses where it was like,
no.
Yeah. So since you guys haven't had a ton of body work before massage school, all of you are probably going to have something like that come up. Yeah, super normal until your body is used to people poking around in it. Like, it's really a normal thing. So I'm just cruising along, medium-ish pressure. Is it pressure still okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have my one pin down here still because I kind of am like pulling them apart from each other, if that makes sense. The important thing to remember is that all muscles are 3D. Like, we kind of think of them as 2D because they're on paper when we learn them. But there's, multiple sides to every muscle. And sometimes these guys get kind of adhered together. So I like to just...
Adhesive?
Yeah. All that sticky fascia. And I follow it out. If they like more pressure, this move can also be done with an elbow. I always make nice. So we've done a good amount of linear friction where we're following the muscle fibers. Now I'm going to show a little bit of cross fiber with some vibration. And the vibration almost makes it the cross fiber. So you can find the transverse processes of the spine, and then I like to work the opposite side I'm standing on when I do this kind of work. So you come up to the transverse processes, you kind of put your fingers in, and then you kind of push away from the spine. And you do kind of small movements. Is that pressure okay? Mm-hmm. Again, people can be really tender, so just be careful. I mean, it's kind of everywhere. You have a chance of people being tender. So some people want you to dig in here and do some crazy stuff. We were taught this thing called flicking, where you go back and forth really fast. Some people might love that, so you're welcome to give it a try. My feeling is Kayla's not gonna like that.
I don't want it.
So I'm not gonna do it. Oh, your back just adjusted.
It did look good.
And that's where you're all tender and sensitive. So I had a feeling you were out right there.
That's weird.
Does that just happen? Like,
when you're working?
yeah.
Yeah, you'll move stuff back in all the time. And everyone makes jokes that, oh, free adjustment. And you're like, please don't use the word adjustment. I don't do that. But that, yeah, it's super common. Yep. And I'm just using a little vibration. You can get real crazy and do the flicking, but we're not gonna do that. And then when I get to the low back, I like to always kind of make it complete by going down and around, and then I'm gonna pull back up, and then we're gonna slowly come back up. And I like to do vibration with that as well, especially when they're really tight. So that is another way to just kind of, when you're doing that, you're working the erectors and you're also kind of peeling it off the spine, because everything is so adhered along here that you're just like pushing it away. So it's easier on your body to do the opposite side. When you're doing it this way, you're like pulling and it's a lot more work, whereas this, you're just leaning into it and getting it to go. So now I'm going to show you the QL. I'm going to stay on point and go on this side. So the quadratum laborum is the one, so the point of this muscle, this is the one that always goes out of alignment when you're bending and twisting. So it's meant to, when you bend over, it's meant to lift you back up straight. So if you are twisted and you lift and come up, then the muscle itself is compromised. So usually they end up with really bad low back pain, and it can last for days. But massage typically gets rid of it within the first session, but it's not really like immediate. It's more they have to sleep on it, and then the next day it feels better. Sometimes